All right, welcome back. So now we're gonna get started with with creating the projects and all that. We're gonna take a different approach. So make no mistake. So if you are going over, if you're starting up the Unreal Project browser, if you go over to the new project, if you want to create a first-person shooter, then you can pretty well select this and get started right away. But there's a problem with this. So let me show you what the problem is. So I'm not gonna go for the starter content this time, and instead I'll just select the proper folder and I'll just go over here, projects, and I'll just select that, and I'll just call this test FES, and this will be discarded anyways. I just want to show you what the exact problem with the first person template is and why we won't be using that to get us started. Instead, you'll be using something else. Okay, I won't be using the starter content as I said, and maximum quality, everything is okay, and I'll just create the project. So make sure that you are in Blueprint and not in C++, but in Blueprint, and select the first person template. And no, actually, you don't have to follow. I just want to show you. But the next template that we'll be using will be, you'll have to follow along. All right. And while that's loading, let me also show you what you'll have to download. So if you go to library, or if you just go to marketplace, there's something called animation starter pack, and you hit enter and give it a while, and there it is. So now you have two of these. Okay, you have animation starter pack by Epic Games and a zombie starter mocap pack by these guys. And but that comes for a money, that comes for a price. While this is by Epic Games and is free of cost. This comes along with a lot of animations like crouching, going prone, running, strafing, and shooting and reloading and jumping, and bunch of other stuff which is quite helpful in our particular project. Okay, so you can go ahead and download this. You just have to click on that and wait for it to load. And if you haven't downloaded it, then it'll give you a download button here, and then this button will change to add to project. And once it's downloaded, you just click add to project, and you can add it to the project later on, right? But just wanted to let you know. Anyways, a test FPS is loaded up. So there it is. Now if I just hit play, now you can see, okay, it's all there. I mean, I can jump, I can shoot, and of course I can if I look down, I don't see anything. Okay, and it's a very classic method of creating a first person shooter, where all you have, if I escape and if I look at the first person character, this is the first person character. All you got are the arms of the character and a couple of guns, couple of weapons, and a camera. And the camera is where the head is supposed to be, so that's why it looks like the person is holding the camera. Otherwise, there is no body at all. There's just a capsule that holds all of these things. Now, which is not very, it's not very realistic. But back then in the like mid to late 90s, where they wanted to save a lot of computation cycles, so they just used to have an arm and a weapon, because anyways you're not going to see it. So that changed later on, when people started to add a full character onto it, because when you're playing multiplayer, then you definitely have to have a character. So it's not very appropriate for you to play multiplayer and the other player in the same server looking at just your arms and the weapon, right? Not knowing where to shoot exactly, because this capsule is not going to be visible. So but for a single player game which is not very realistic, this is still good to go. It shoots. If you really want to create a quick prototype to test out what your idea is like, then you can go ahead with this. Otherwise, if you want something more realistic, then you have to go with something which has a full body, which is why we're not going to be using this. We're going to be using something else. So go over to the new project. Okay, and out here we'll be selecting a third person template, because this first person just comes with the arms and the weapon, and all of these are not required. We just need the third person where it has the full body. Now agreed, it's a third person, and it's gonna behave like a third person as the template suggests, but we're gonna tweak it to our needs. We'll turn this into a first person while keeping the character. So when you look down, you're gonna see the legs of the character and all that. So which is more realistic way to go about it, right? So let's get started with this third person template. Okay, so go ahead and select third person, desktop and console, and maximum quality. And this time we're gonna include the starter content, because there are some good stuff there. You can use that for, I guess, particles and bunch of other things, and also quite a lot of meshes that come included with the starter content. Okay, so you can name anything you like. I'm going to name this FES course because that's what this is. It's an FES course, and I'll create the project. This might take a little longer than the first person template because we did not include the starter content with that, but in this we are including it. So I'll just create the project and just wait for it to load up, and let's just wait. And in the meantime, I hope you have downloaded this. It's not it, it's not this it's not it doesn't have a big size. I believe it's not even 500 megs. So once you have this ready, we're gonna connect it with our FES course or the new third person template project that we just creating, right? So give it a minute more, it should be done. It's 91% done. There you go, I think it's done. And there we have our third person template, and once we hit play, there you can see that we have this guy running around, and if I move around, I can see the entire character, the torso, the hips, the legs, the arms, the head, and everything else. The whole body is out there, the whole character is out there. That's exactly what we want. This is more realistic than just having arms and a weapon, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit escape, and I will click on this thing. I don't like this, and I'm just going to hit delete. I don't need it. And also this guy, I don't need this at all. Save. Now we're gonna go ahead and modify this character in a way that looks like a first person character and behaves like one. Okay, so this is about the setup for the game that we're going to be creating throughout the course, and I'll see you in the next video where we will start tweaking this third person character template, and we'll also bring in the animation starter pack inside this project. Okay, thank you.